Welcome, everybody, here to the Math Show. We're doing mathematics. My name is Andrew Valentin. I'm here with Kevin Berger. Kevin, what is the square root of 9?
There is no square root of 9.
Wrong, you fail. It's 3. Just joking, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here.
I was told there'd be no math.
Welcome, everybody, here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin. I'm going to be your host. With me, of course, is Kevin Berger, who I just tricked there a little bit. Sorry, man. I just had to keep you going, Just got to keep you on edge a little bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is Mr. Kevin Berger. Kevin, how you doing, man? I know you're a little peeved at me now.
I'm dope.
Awesome, yes. As you guys know, you're rocking the sunglasses. You got the hat on. You're looking real fresh today, man.
Got a haircut. Got a new
Did you get a
outfit.
haircut? Yeah, absolutely, man. So you doing good, man?
Yeah, for the most part. Had some good basketball action last night.
Absolutely.
And the World Cup started, so that's pretty good. Big game in Stanley Cup Finals tonight.
Yeah,
It's elimination time.
Absolutely. And we got a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be getting into all that and more throughout this show. But, Kevin, you ready to kick this one off?
Yes.
Well, let's get it started, ladies and gentlemen. Kicking it off with the 2019 NBA Finals. The Raptors versus the Warriors. People said it was going to be a close one. I said Game 7 looks like it might be a little bit tighter than that, as right now the Toronto Raptors lead the series 3-1 against the Warriors. Unbelievable. Now, kick this one off, Kevin. Exactly what are we seeing from these Toronto Raptors that's giving them this opportunity to take this 3-1 lead against the Warriors, you think?
Andrew, number one, we're seeing a team that wants it more.
Yeah.
To be honest, I know it's the oldest cliche in the book, but they want it more.
Mm-hmm.
They want it more than the Warriors do. We're seeing how good Nick Nurse and his staff are as a coaching staff.
Yep.
With the adjustments that they've made,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the Warriors starting to try to put Steph Curry as the pick guy in the pick and roll to try to get him up. They've adjusted.
Right.
Everything Golden State has done, the Raptors have adjusted. And, Andrew, we are seeing Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
And as to why I said in the main event Chicago on Thursday, Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the league.
Yeah, no.
I think he is the best player on the planet right now.
He is definitely showing his own. I mean, he's right now averaging 26.5 points a game. He's scoring around his field goal percentage is at almost 50% at this point. I mean, he's
locking up the best player on the opposing team at the same time.
He's putting a defensive show on for everybody. He's playing the best defense against some of the best players in the world right now. He's doing it against Steph Curry. He's putting it on against Klay Thompson. Then he goes on to Draymond Green, and then he'll go on to Boogie Cousins and show him one thing or two.
And, Andrew, the thing that I've noticed is that the Raptors, they play great team basketball, and not even so much offensively. Defensively is what I'm impressed with the most.
Yeah.
Obviously, it always helps when you have the claw on your team, but Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Marc Gasol, Fred VanVleet. Don't forget about former defensive. They have 3 guys on their team that were former defensive players of the year, in Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, and Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. No, and you can see, too, where that experience, certainly on defense, but also has started to emerge throughout the game, because you have Serge Ibaka, who last night, I mean, he went for
20 points off the bench.
Exactly. He went for big. And look, do some of these guys for the Raptors, do they look a little bit slower, I'll say? Because there's some people that are saying, they look a little bit kind of slowed down. They're not playing at a fast pace like the rest of the NBA does. But this is kind of that perfect opportunity to do it, because you have the Warriors who want to play. It's like the rest of the NBA. They've kind of set the tone for what the NBA is now. Mm-hmm. You fire the ball off fast, go for the quick 3, go for the quick jumper, find a way to pass the ball as fast as you can, get back down the court. Raptors are kind of taking it a little slower. They're pacing it out. They're trying to find their shot, because they have one guy right now who they know that they really can rely on more than anybody, who's hitting his shot all the time, in Kawhi Leonard. And the rest of the guys are coming in every now and then and making it count when they need to.
Andrew, do you know what I think has been a big X factor is I could say Pascal Siakam. Obviously, Siakam has been a big factor.
Yeah.
It's been Marc Gasol.
Oh, yeah.
And yesterday he had a very good balanced game. He had 9 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He changed and altered multiple shots.
Yeah.
And the Warriors, if they've had one weakness at all in this entire run that they've had, Andrew, is they cannot match up against true big men.
Yeah.
They can't do it. And I don't care if you have Draymond Green or I don't. Draymond Green is a very, very good defender, but he's still only 6'7".
Right.
Marc Gasol is a legit 7 foot. He's skilled, he's bulky, and he knows how to use it.
Yeah.
So them getting him involved in the game plan early, I love that. Kyle Lowry has been another big factor, and I have been one of the biggest critics of Kyle Lowry because of postseason. Because up until now, postseason Kyle Lowry has been trash.
Yeah, he's always seemed to disappear whenever the postseasons come around. But this year, for some reason, it seems like having Kawhi has kind of been like the resurgence for him to say, you know what? I got to do my part here, too. I got to hit my threes. And right now, he's leading out of both teams. He's leading in assists, 8.5 assists a game. I mean, he is on point with every single pass he's making. And this is the reason why a lot of people said, why would you sign him to $100 million? This is why. I mean, does he score 20 points like he used to back in the day? No.
Doesn't need to.
Exactly. You have a lot of talent out there that can make the scoring happen. So all you need him to do is get it to 12 to 15, give you those 8, 9, 10 assists.
And he's a very underrated player on defense, Andrew.
Absolutely.
He's very he was second in the league this year in charges drawn.
Yeah.
And I believe after last night it was 37.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Sabonis led the entire NBA with, or not Sabonis, Ersan Ilyasova. I'm sorry, Ersan Ilyasova had 57. But that's just absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
But I mean, for a guard though to draw 37 charges,
right?
And Kyle Lowry, I mean, yeah, he's stockier, I'd say, than most guards, but I mean, he's still only like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
So you're taking punishment from a lot bigger human beings sometimes, right square in the chest, and he's not shying away from it.
Yeah, this is one of those guards that we look at like Patrick Beverley, a former teammate of his, I believe, former teammate,
Chicago guy.
You've got, the smaller guards a lot of times tend to kind of be counted out because it's like, oh, they can't take that kind of brute punishment and stuff. Yeah, look at Kyle Lowry. He's taken every bit they can. But these Raptors, I mean, you've kind of said it. A lot of people have said it. The Raptors just seem to kind of want it more. It's a lot of Nick Nurse is kind of underrated in terms of his ability to coach. I mean, this is a man, for those that don't know, his career
G League
has been everywhere. It's been he's been in the Britain League, he's been with the G League, he's won championships in both. If he can win an NBA title in here, he's the first ever from the British League and from the G League to have titles in both and winning an NBA title.
Pascal Siakam has won a couple G League championships as well. And Andrew, that's the crazy thing. They didn't even think Pascal Siakam was going to make the team in training camp. They thought they were going to have to send him back down to the G League again.
And that just speaks to the volumes of what this team is. They're like, you know what? Siakam's got a good side to him. He's got size, and he's certainly fast for his size.
He's athletic. He's very quick and athletic for his size.
So they said, let's give him a chance. And what does he become? I think he's got a future all-star in him.
Yep,
now, I don't know if it's going to be soon, but he keeps going at the level he's playing at. I mean, he could be that.
Do you know
next.
What I could see him developing to like a Sean Marion type.
I'd even put him past that. I think he has more than what Sean Marion has. Not just in terms of a shooter. I think he's got more because you can see if you put him down low, he needs a little bit more work on it, but he does have the ability to get up and block the shot and play some good defense.
He just needs to work on his body a little bit. He's still a little on the slender side, at least for my liking.
He's around 230 or so.
Exactly, but you know what? Hey, that's another NBA offseason in terms of weight training and that type of stuff. That's
as long as he doesn't lose that speed, because that speed is what's killing a guy like Draymond Green. Because you could see, I mean,
Draymond Green's got a lot of miles on his tires, Andrew.
Exactly, and as he's athletic. Don't get me wrong, he's very athletic, but Draymond Green is still 240 pounds. And even though that's only 10 pounds more than Siakam,
it makes a lot of difference, everybody.
Exactly.
It makes. Why do you think Dwayne Wade in the second half of his career dropped like 10, 15 pounds, and all of a sudden most of his knee problems went away?
Yeah, I mean, and it showed. Not only that, but when you're 2 inches shorter, everything's a little bit more compact. Trust me, I know. But no, it is. I wanted to ask you now. Obviously, concerns with the Warriors. We've got the injury concerns with Klay. Now they're saying there's not going to be any, there's no call from Kevin Durant now for Game 5. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's almost like everything I've said this entire time has been right.
I mean,
it's almost as if, Andrew, everything I've said about Kevin Durant's injury has been right.
Yeah.
That he's not going to play.
I mean, it certainly seems like it's a lot more serious. I mean, from what we've heard from guys like Kevin Broussard and a few of our sources coming from the Oakland area ourselves, apparently, from what they've said, I guess the ice that he's been putting on his knee has been a little bit lower towards maybe more like the Achilles. Now, they're not saying a tear in the Achilles, but it certainly seems like it's a much more serious injury than what we're calling as like a knee strain.
What did I say?
Or a calf strain,
What did I tell everybody? We can check the tape.
Yeah.
Check the tape. I said there is no chance in hell that it was his calf because I have strained my calf before. And while painful,
yeah, I
could put weight on my leg. He put no weight on his leg when he hurt it. When he hurt it.
Yeah.
And Andrew, I'd see the next question we have is what can the Warriors do to get themselves a chance?
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, first thing is that they have to get healthy, which obviously they don't really have time for at this point because all these guys, they're older except for the guys on the bench. They have a lot of miles on their tires. Yeah. Sean Livingston, God bless that man for having as good of a career as he's been because multiple doctors even said that when he had his knee injury, and you and I'm sure you remember that injury. I remember watching that live.
Yeah, that was ugly.
That if Sean Livingston was a horse, they would have put him down on the spot.
Absolutely.
Because he had no knee left.
Yeah.
Andre Iguodala is 35 years old and is playing on one leg.
Yep.
Klay Thompson is not even close to being 100% because, I mean, he did come out and he did drop 28 points last night.
Oh, yeah.
But, Andrew, I noticed a difference in his jump shot. He does not have the same lift on his jump shot.
Well, and you could see he was playing a little bit more stiff. The motion wasn't really there.
Yep.
He was more trying to get into a spot and kind of stand still.
Yep.
Yes, did he still drop? He went 60% from three-point. I mean, look, the guy's still got a dead eye.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
That's not going to be taken away.
But it's different when he's able to move and bend around the screens and come off that because then you're not just talking about 28 points. You're probably talking somewhere around like 35 maybe.
Yeah, because then, you're probably going to get fouled a time or two.
Right.
He might be able to take someone off the dribble and try to get himself to the line or something like that.
Exactly.
And right now, he doesn't have the push to do that because he's worried about that hamstring. I mean, he tweaked it again last night. We saw in one of the TV timeouts that they had to wrap it up.
Yep.
And he had to go, and they had to heat it up, wrap it up, and he had to go back out there. So he's not 100%.
Nope.
Kevon Looney isn't 100%, even though he was back yesterday. DeMarcus Cousins is out of shape, which, again, no fault of his own because the first basketball he's played in a month, he's in the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
So anything you get from him at all really is a bonus because some people didn't even expect him to play at all.
Yeah.
So you got that going against you. Andrew Bogut can't stay out of foul trouble because he's old and slow.
Andrew Bogut, I mean, look, I know why they brought him on this team because, okay, he was with us for the first one, and he was a big deal back then. But you just said it. He's older now. He looks slower.
They were better off, Andrew. I cannot believe I'm saying this. They would have been better off keeping the Shaq and the Fool MVP JaVale McGee.
Oh, honestly, you're not wrong.
Because he would have given you good rebounding, a great inside presence, especially on the defensive end as a rim protector and a shot blocker.
Oh, yeah.
Athletic finisher. So, he'd be able to go up and get a pass in transition and stuff like that. And, Andrew, that's the other thing. I understand that what the Warriors do, it's the run and gun three-point. But in the open court, you have to be willing to go at this Toronto Raptors team and try to go inside, pass up the open three in transition every once in a while, and go to the basket and try to draw a foul.
Yeah.
Because if you can't get Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green and these guys in foul trouble, they're going to do the same thing. And I'll bet you any money, Game 5, Danny Green's not going to be as bad as he was from the field. Andrew, going into last night's game, 52% from three.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is, look, when Tyler was on here, we kind of talked about this before, but I'll say it again. Last time we saw Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green showing up for a team, it was the Spurs. And they were taking down those great, amazing Miami team, and it was because of both of those guys showing up and having big games in the finals that the Spurs were really able to conquer against them. So
and Kawhi Leonard scares the rest of the NBA. That is why I say he is the best player in the league. Because, yes, Kevin Durant scares you offensively. Doesn't scare you too much defensively. I don't care if he's 7 foot or not. He's not scaring you defensively.
I'll give him some credit, though. His defense has gotten a ton better.
Yes,
it's gotten a ton better.
It's gotten a ton better. LeBron James scares you at both ends of the court. Not the way Kawhi Leonard does.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is the same person who, in those finals that you just mentioned, LeBron James is at the free throw line, and he looks back, and Kawhi Leonard is coming back, and he's like, oh, shit, this guy's coming back in the game.
Yeah.
This is the same guy who scared the Golden State Warriors with an aging Spurs team. They were up. They would have gone up 3-1 if Zaza Pachulia wasn't a complete and total asshole and step underneath him, which now has changed the way they call fouls on a jump shot.
Right.
And he has proven now why he scares the rest of the NBA.
Yeah.
Because not only can he lock up your best player on offense, regardless of the position that person plays, because he can guard 1 through 5.
Yeah.
He seriously can. Now, in shorter stints at the 5 position, but he can guard 1 through 5. But then he can go down and drop 30 points and shoot above 45 to almost 50% from the field.
Yeah. I mean, is he – a lot of people have been trying to compare him to Jordan because, I mean, look, that's a far-off comparison. I'm not going to make that one. But I will say this. There is an Jordan-esque air about him with the Raptors.
Andrew, he has the it factor.
Exactly.
Kawhi Leonard has the it factor that the great ones have.
Exactly.
Michael Jordan has it.
And
Kobe Bryant has it.
Yeah.
Kawhi has it. Allen Iverson had it. That killer instinct.
You know what's surprising to me, and I don't want to throw it off of this, but I'm looking at him, and I look at baseball, right? The face of baseball right now is
Mike Trout.
Yep. Quiet guy, doesn't say a lot. Right now, it's kind of becoming the thing where, like, Kawhi's starting to actually become the face because you're hearing the talk about him quite a bit.
Yep.
Everybody's starting to say, well, where's he going to go for free agency, right? I mean, we all wonder where Kevin Durant and all those guys are going, but we're all kind of wondering what's going to happen with Kawhi.
Exactly. It's not going to change the league the same way as Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
It's not going to change the league the same way.
It's interesting that I would say I think Kawhi's moving into the face of the NBA right now. If that's the case, it's getting interesting to the point where now the faces of sports are starting to become these quiet, sort of more humble guys we're seeing now. You know, I mean, the only guy I would say maybe not so quiet is Alexander Ovechkin, but even still himself, I mean, as fun-loving as he is, he still even has his own quietness to him. You know,
I was gonna say Alex Ovechkin doesn't make headlines with what he says and stuff like
exactly.
that. I mean, if we're going back to last summer, let's be honest. The guy's played his entire
allowed to have a little
career
fun
with one team.
Yeah.
Everyone's ranked on him for never being as good as Crosby because he couldn't win come playoff time. And guess what? He did. So what that the man did a keg stand out of the Stanley Cup.
Let him have his fun.
What the hell else do you want him to do with it? It's a giant trophy that's literally begging to have liquid be poured in. I mean, we've seen people eat cereal out of that before.
Gotta wonder what Kawhi's gonna do.
So drinking a beer out of there is anything different?
Yeah.
Yeah, let the guys have their fun and stuff like that.
I wonder if Kawhi wins this. I want to see him I just want to see the explosion of emotion come off of him.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
But Andrew, did you see what Kendrick Perkins said? And Shaq brought this up to me on our show on Thursday after game 4. When they went up 2-1. I'm sorry, 2-1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would have been game 3 at the time. I'm sorry. Kendrick Perkins said that he saw the scariest thing in the Toronto. No emotion at all.
Yeah.
That it was like they
all got straight face.
It was like, oh yeah, we have our 10 seconds to celebrate the fact. Hey, we're up 2-1. Back to work.
Yeah, it is terrifying.
This team has the it factor, Andrew, and it's not just Kawhi Leonard. I mean, having Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green on their NBA champions helps.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Marc Gasol's been to a Western Conference Finals, and he's gone deep in the playoffs. Serge Ibaka's been to an NBA final. He's been to a couple Western Conference Finals. He's been to an NBA Finals before.
Yep.
Pascal Siakam, I mean, he's bringing energy. Fred VanVleet brings energy off the bench.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry, I'm sure has been playing his ass off to make up for all these past 3-4 years when the Raptors should have gone far into the playoffs and they just choked.
Yeah.
And this, Andrew, I said the same thing. You remember me saying the same thing on Wednesday with Liverpool in the Champions League. I said it feels like they are on a mission from God.
Yep.
And it feels like that this Raptors team is on a mission from the basketball gods.
Oh, yeah.
To deliver an NBA championship to Canada.
Absolutely.
Now, am I ruling the Warriors? Am I counting the Warriors out? Absolutely not.
You can't.
You'd
mean,
be
this team
foolish to do that.
This team is still that good. They still have a lot of talent on this team.
I do not think that the Warriors are going to be able to win 2 games in Toronto.
So you're giving Toronto...
I think Toronto will win the series. I just don't know if it will be after Game 5, Game 6, or Game 7. I think Toronto will win the series, Andrew, because, they've taken home court. They did what they did above and beyond what they had to do. Not only did they steal one from Oregon, they stole both.
Yeah.
Which I would like us actually to go back in the record books and actually see when the hell was the last time the Warriors watched 2 straight at home.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That could have been the last game at Oracle.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have. Jeez. And imagine all those fans, man. They would have just. The shock and awe that would have happened, my God.
But you know what, Warriors fans? I've looked at the specs for their new arena. You guys are in for a treat.
Oh yeah, it's looking nice.
Did you see that it's gonna have its own monorail that's gonna be attached to it and stuff that's gonna connect that to the University of California Oakland campus to downtown San Francisco?
Yeah, no, I am. Well, and that's the smart thing to do. At this point now, with the way that traffic is in LA, you want to be able to get the fans in there, or in San Francisco, you want to be able to get the people.
California.
Yeah. You want to be able to get those people in there as fast as possible. So that's the smart move to make. And not only that, but you're also making a bundle off of that because people are going to be jumping on that in a hurry.
It's a great marketing tool because then, I know the Bulls occasionally have, college night. You bring your student ID or whatever like that or present it when you get your tickets, and they're like half price.
Yeah.
So, hey, and especially, if you can get a lot of those college kids that are out there, even if it's just a preseason game or something like that, I got to see Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, that's the deal. You got to get those young fans while they're still young, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what do you think is going to happen between the Raptors and Warriors? You guys can comment down below. Let us know what you guys think. Give us all your takes. We want to hear. Do you think the Raptors are going to blow this one out? Do you think the Warriors can maybe come back down 3-1? Can they pull up? Can they pull out the upset? Let us know, guys.
How funny would that be if they did that on the Jumbotron or something?
My God,
that would be so funny.
I love the videos that I've seen of it, but I hope they do something like that. Seriously. At this point, they need to come out and play.
And, Andrew, you can't count out the Warriors yet because the Raptors still got the Drake.
Very true, yeah. You can't get past Drake, man.
Just ask Anthony Joshua what happens.
And keep your owners off the court,
Wario. Anthony Joshua, you're trash.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going to the next topic, which is Women's
Football.
World Cup. It's officially started. And we're already underway. France has just beaten Korea 4-0.
Oh.
We've got Germany winning against China 1-0. We've got Spain winning against South Africa 3-1. What's up?
Do you know what's actually really funny? So I just mentioned Anthony Joshua. It literally just popped up on my phone that they're considering the rematch is going to be in Madison Square Garden.
Really? Okay, that'll be interesting.
Right now, it's actually set for to be somewhere in the UK, but they're considering to move it to MSG.
Okay.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty good. I'd like that.
Back to the important thing.
And also to an update too, Norway is right now beating Nigeria 3-0.
Ooh.
So that is your updates for the score now. With what time we've got allotted for this, I want to hit you real quick with this one.
Yep.
Basically, who are you looking as your favorites, Kevin, for this one?
Okay.
Outside of the USA, because
say, on the women's
USA
side,
right now is standing at a 7-4 odds favorite.
Yep.
To win the World Cup.
I was going to say, on the women's side, Andrew, you got to start with the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if we have an international audience, we're not even trying to be biased towards our own country. But the fact of the matter is that the U.S. women have arguably been the best country for women's national soccer in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Since 96, I'm pretty sure we've won, I think, almost every World Cup since 1996.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that. Andrew, I mean, you can never count out a team like Italy. Italy's always produced great players on the men's and women's side. Now, I don't know a lot about the Italian national team women's national team per se.
Yeah.
But I know they always produce great players coming out of Italy, so that's always got to be one.
Yep.
England's always got to be up there. Brazil, you can never count out Brazil either.
Nope.
So I would say those would be my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm actually kind of looking forward to the next round of pool play with Germany versus Spain.
Yeah,
that'll be. And Germany is another one that Germany always has good teams on the men's and women's side.
Germany, I believe they won 3 straight World Cups for a while there.
Yep.
So I mean, they're a team that you always have to fear.
And they had a close game against China today. They won 1-0.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm always for Germany. I'm always, because I never put it past the men and women's team there. I mean, the way that they train year round for this. They are always prepared for this.
They're good.
France, I always got to put in there too because
they surrender before it gets to halftime.
Jesus. We love you, France. No, this team
I love your art.
from what I had seen from an article which came from Paris itself, said that the women's team played against the men's national team in a friendly matchup, and the women's team apparently beat the pants off of them in a 5-2 match.
Okay, again, Andrew, the men's team probably surrendered after they let up the second goal.
So
they probably thought they were facing the Germans or something.
I'm gonna give it to France. I think they're a good favorite. I like Japan and Netherlands. I like both of those teams.
The Dutch are always good.
Very skilled, very fast. They come on the attack very well. I would also throw in Brazil as well. And you know what? I'm gonna give some love to our brothers and sisters up north, Canada. I'm gonna give some love to the Canadian team because right now they're at 30-1 odds, believe it or not, according to CBS Sports.
Decent team to put a bet on.
I mean,
why not?
And look, from what I've heard, I think they said 5 of their strikers have been measuring their shots at over 100 miles an hour. So so don't put it past. Do not put it past those women. Because they will knock you clean, apparently.
Yeah.
So
I'm good on all that.
Exactly. Yeah. Wanna block a shot from that as the goalie? Not me.
I'm good.
I'm good too. Yeah.
I would never.
So real quick, do you have an upset out of some of the teams that we haven't mentioned that you could see coming through?
Andrew, do you know Iran? I almost forgot Argentina. We forgot to talk about Argentina. Argentina always has a solid program too.
Yep.
I kind of want to see how Scotland does in this World Cup. I don't remember seeing them in any previous World Cups.
Yeah.
So you know what? Hey, as Mike Myers says, if it's not Scottish, it's clad. So you know what? Let's go
nice.
Scotland. I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful country.
Oh, it is.
Andrew, I think New Zealand is a team to watch too. I mean, their sports, especially on the national levels, are on the rise. I mean, we all know how good their rugby teams are. I mean, the All Blacks and the Black Ferns. I mean, they whoop everybody's ass.
Absolutely.
Except for the Irish this past year.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. But other than that, yeah, those are my 2 teams to watch because they're smaller countries. They're not really known as much for their soccer, so I want to see how they do.
Yeah. No, you mentioned the one that I was going to be picking, which was New Zealand. Right now, New Zealand and Scotland are both right now at the same odds at 150-1 right now to win the World Cup. But both of those teams right now, they pass the ball very well. They've had a lot of chemistry. These are players that have played on the same teams together for years and years and years. So, I would honestly watch out for Scotland and certainly watch out for New Zealand. And also, too, I've heard that both of those teams' goalkeepers, they're starting goalkeepers, they're world-class, top-end goalkeepers.
Their goalies are really,
really good. You think U.S. has some good ones. Look, I'm going to say this. I know U.S. is still the favorite. I would still give them that.
Yeah.
This is going to be the challenging year, though, I think, because everybody, I feel like, is going to be not on their level, but they're like a notch right underneath them.
And, Andrew, is that we got to remember that we're going to be seeing a lot of newcomers and new faces on the U.S. team. The Abby Wambachs, that they're going to be gone. Hope Solo's long gone.
Yep.
Alex Morgan, I'm not saying Alex Morgan is old by any means because she's still amazing and she's amazing looking too, if you don't mind me saying so.
Okay.
But it's going to be a changing of the guard. We're going to be seeing a lot more new players and younger players and stuff like that. So I'm going to be interested to see who of those young players steps up in addition to the veteran leadership that they have on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say this to end this one. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
fun.
amazing, and it's
fun.
gonna be a lot of fun.
As all the World Cups are, both
Yeah.
men and women. Unless you're a fan of the United States soccer team, in which case you spend all your time rooting for whatever nationality you actually are, because the U.S. team fails to qualify for the World Cup because we're trash.
Honestly, I don't blame you. You got to take a little bite at the men's every now and then.
Like I said,
stop
like
it,
I
Tom.
said, I don't understand it, Andrew. We have all these great players on the under-18 and the under-20 team. And, I mean, I know the under-20 team just lost today, a close match 2-1 in the quarters. But we're not going to see any of these guys on the actual national team. Why? Instead, we see all these guys that are playing in the MLS, which, mind you, the MLS is hot garbage compared to the Premier League and La Liga. Mm-hmm. But, you know, what do I know, right?
Well, I mean, we're just gonna have
a guy with a hat and some shades.
That's all we ever are. We're just people with some shades on, some hats on, and just talking a little sports here.
Not you.
No, I don't have a hat. I just have the shades on. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think is going to happen in the Women's World Cup? Give us your predictions. Who do you think is going to be in the final? Who do you think is going to break it down? Who do you think is going to have the upsets? Comment all that stuff down below. Let us know what you guys think. And, of course, real quick, before we get out of here, Belmont Stakes, who are you picking for that one, man?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Andrew, the funny thing is I actually don't, I don't follow horse racing a ton.
Yeah.
And, of course, Tom's already billing.
Yeah,
Of course, I said something he doesn't like. But you know what? Going through the list real quick, which one was the one that won the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, he's not racing in this one.
So, you know what, Andrew? I'm just going through right now. This is the top 10 horses.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I was going to say War Will, but you know what? Tom just ruined it for me because I was going to say it sounds like a pretty cool name.
Okay.
But you know what? Shut up.
Stop talking.
You know what? I'm going to go with Sir Winston.
I knew you were. I had a feeling you would.
Hey, you know what? Those 7-1 odds, it's 7-1 for Sir Winston and Bourbon War at 7-1. I like that name, too. That name's pretty good.
Hey, you can't go wrong with Bourbon, man.
And I love this. I love the number 4 horse, Andrew. It's just named Tax.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is such a simple and awesome name. I absolutely love that. So you know what? I'm going to go with Bourbon War number 1, and my alternate pick will be Tax.
Okay, all right. Bourbon War and Tax for Kevin, ladies and gentlemen.
7-1 and 11-1 odds.
Thank you so much for joining us, man. This has been a pleasure. Where can they find you real quick, man?
You guys can follow me over on Twitter at KevinB.TheGamer. You can follow me on Instagram over at _Berg Squad. Give us a follow for the Respawn Cast over on Facebook at the Respawn Cast. And assuming that we actually have equipment, we'll be streaming on Monday and Tuesday of next week. We'll be starting our Persona 5 Let's Play. All
right, well, there you guys go. Again, the Respawn Cast on Twitch.tv every Tuesday, every Friday. Go check them out. Kevin, Kat, Shaq, they're always streaming. Hopefully, when's Kat coming back? Do you know?
Is it? I want to say it's not this week. I think it's the week after this coming week.
Okay. All right. Well, Kat will be back soon.
Hopefully.
Assuming if not, Kevin and Shaq will be taking it over and still be rocking the thing. So make sure to go check them out. Send them some love, guys. And with that, when we return, we will be talking some Stanley Cup finals with, of course, the man who is going to be rocking a sweet old jersey. And, of course,
that's too small for him.
Very true. And then, of course, we'll also be getting into some baseball talk on contracts. We'll be doing that all here and more on the XBomb Sports Live Show. Don't go anywhere.
Throughout the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, Judy Finelli established herself as a masterful juggler and performer, making appearances everywhere from Carnegie Hall to Sesame Street. With her loving heart, she has brought warm smiles to children everywhere she has performed. She even started the San Francisco School for the Circus Arts, but shortly after, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and by 2004, she was completely paralyzed. In celebration of her accomplishments and to fight the illness that had crippled Judy, a group of students from the San Francisco Clown College have compiled the perfect holiday present for those who want to laugh and to help those struggling with the illness. The goal has been set at $1 million raised, with 100% of any dollar made to be donated to the Judy Finelli Fund, which is helping find a cure to multiple sclerosis. Visit www.circuscenter.org to make a donation or to purchase a framed naked clown photo or the full Naked Clown 12-month calendar. Remember, 100% of every dollar is donated and goes to fighting MS.
Man, are you still working out? It's like 1,000 degrees.
Intense heat is nothing. To get an intense workout, you gotta be intense.
Our friend here is getting an intense workout with the intense cool of his Hydrotech Cool Breeze shoes, which brings your feet a cooling sensation that is the best on the market today. Can only be explained with one word: intense! Whether you're working out hard or just taking a stroll, these shoes have got your back, or I should say, your feet.
Aren't these shoes intense?
Maybe a little too intense, but there's no doubt they're cool.
The Chicagoland area has a large number of lonely dogs currently filling shelter pens, just waiting to find a family. Nothing adds warmth to a home like a wagging tail and a warm pair of brown eyes. If you are considering adding a dog to your household, visit the Anderson Animal Shelter, where adoption counselors can assist you in selecting your new best friend. Make your house a home. Adopt a shelter dog. To see a current list of adoptees, visit their website at www.andersonanimalshelter.org or meet them in person at 1000 South LaFox Street in South Elgin. Don't have room in the home for a new furry family member? Donations of toys, collars, and soft or hard non-perishable dog food are always accepted and are greatly appreciated. All animals are spayed or neutered and are waiting with tails wagging to find a loving home. Visit 1000 South LaFox Street in South Elgin or www.andersonanimalshelter.org for more details.
And welcome back, everybody, here to the X-Bomb Sports live show. I am still Andrew Valentin, sitting here looking pretty as always, and with me is the man himself who has become a future evil genius. It's Mr. Tom McKinney, but he's not alone today. Tom, who you got with you there?
Got my little puppy Lucky.
So adorable.
I know.
I love how, too, he's also... Is he looking into the camera by any chance?
I think he is. I think he's really confused right now.
He was born to be a star. Well, I hope Lucky is going to enjoy this, man.
Yeah,
I know.
we're gonna see how this goes. This will be great.
All right. Well, you ready to get into this, man?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, let's kick it off, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start this one off with some Stanley Cup Finals talk, because if you guys haven't been watching, it has been an exciting series all the way through and through.
Series I've ever seen in my life.
It's been a rough one for some fans, but it's been exciting for others, as right now the St. Louis Blues lead the series 3-2. You just don't like them, do you?
No, I hate St. Louis. Why am I supposed to love them?
I don't know, man. You could give them a little bit of love.
No, I'm a
maybe.
Cubs fan. Hate the Cardinals.
I know.
I'm a Blackhawks fan. Hate the Blues, and you don't have any other sports there, so.
I know. All right. Well, I mean, so let's start this off with, obviously with the Blues leading the series. And I know obviously you're not a fan of them, but what do you think is giving the Blues the upside in this?
The man in the pinstripes.
Okay, give me a little bit more on that. What exactly are you talking about?
Bruce, whatever, or Brubre, or whatever his name is, the coach of St. Louis, complains about not getting enough calls in the first few games, and all of a sudden every call goes their way or doesn't go the way of the Bruins when they need it. Quote unquote, the slew foot.
Yeah.
You had two officials right there and no penalty called. Then you had the headshot, which obviously now there's been a suspension for game 6, where Johansson took an elbow straight to the head, and everybody's complaining out there, oh, well, he came up and he had already lowered himself. No, it doesn't matter if he was already lowered in that position. There was still plenty of time for the defender to move out of the way. And he didn't. He just kept going and took his elbow straight into his temple and knocked him down. Now, the slew foot, that guy went off the ice.
Yeah.
Why there wasn't a call there baffles me, and that what gave the Blues the game.
Yeah.
Because it made it 2-0 at that point. And then you had I forget who scored for the Bruins.
See, even Lucky's upset about these calls.
It's terrible. This is the worst playoff series and season ever in the NHL.
Yeah, there's been a lot of criticism throughout these. There's been a lot of criticism throughout these Stanley Cup Finals about the calls being made.
It started Game 7, Sharks, Golden Knights.
It did.
I was
yeah.
okay with the outcome, but at the same time, it wasn't.
There was a lot of questions on those calls, and ever since then, it's just been a rough going left and right. It seems for the Stanley Cup playoffs, and now into the Stanley Cup Finals, we're seeing that it's not getting any easier. So I agree with you. Certainly, there were some calls that need to be made, but at the same time too, we also have to look at it like the Bruins. They seem to kind of just be like lacking a little something here. I mean, as much as the calls, I think.
My words here.
Okay.
The Bruins are gonna come out flying for Game 6, and they're gonna win that game, and then they're gonna go back to TD Garden in Boston, and they're gonna shut the Blues up, and St. Louis is gonna not have another championship.
Okay. So what do you think is going to be? What do you think is going to give Boston that edge to kind of come back? I mean,
Grizzlies coming back.
Grizzly. Oh, so you think so? Okay.
The first injury in Game 2, Grizzlies coming back.
So you think that'll be enough of the resurgence to bring him back?
Give him another defender, and that'll just put him over the edge. And Grizzly will help him and to make sure those defensive lines, because that team was rolling in Game 2 until he went out.
Yeah.
And if the Bruins had won Game 2, this series is over in 4.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's a very good point, and obviously Grizzly is a very he's a nasty, take no nonsense type of guy. I mean, he certainly takes his runs at everybody he possibly can, and he's kind of like I would say he's one of the enforcers on that Boston team. So, I mean, and also too, got to give some credit to Chara. I mean, he's playing through.
Can't speak, can't really breathe well.
Yeah.
Can't do anything. Can't even open his jaw because it's literally sewn shut right now.
Wired shut. Yeah.
Wired. Same difference.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I know.
And he goes out and plays now. He's 41 years old.
Right.
They just extended his contract another year. They're gonna keep doing it until he finally says I'm done.
Right.
And if he wins this year, I think next year's his last year.
You think so?
Yeah. I truly believe that.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, look, he's been in the league for so long. He's been one of the premier defensemen in this league he's the giant that everybody's been always trying to topple in Boston. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him to find
7 feet, whatever.
Right, on skates and stuff. So, you know what? I wouldn't. I mean, honestly, for what I've seen from Boston, I honestly would never put it past him to be able to come back and push it to a Game 7 for the win. But I also feel too like this Blues team, man. Look, I'm not a heavy St. Louis fan on this, but I do have to give them their credit. I do see the speed, I do see the ferocity, and I see that will in them to potentially take it, whether it's Game 6 or Game 7, to possibly win this.
Nope.
But I mean,
there will be a hole in my apartment if St. Louis wins Sunday or next Wednesday.
Hopefully not a dog-shaped hole.
No, not that mean.
Good. Well, I mean, I'm just saying that because, I mean, look, this team, they've obviously found a way to be able to score on the Bruins, so they've been able to find their openings, right? Whatever the calls are, they have been able to find their openings, so I do have to give them some sort of credit for that, certainly, and I feel like people should. Because I think this team is certainly talented, and I think they can win it.
At the same time, for them to go out and just complain about not getting calls, like, you were the most penalized team in the regular season. Yeah, you weren't penalized that much in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Up until the Stanley Cup, but then all of a sudden the Stanley Cup, you go back to your old ways.
Yeah.
Do a better job of staying out of the box.
Now, update me on this, though, because this is what I'm wondering. Was it just the coach that came out on this, or was it the players?
The coach said it. He said it in a press conference. He called the league out. He goes, it's funny how we were one of the least penalized teams in the first 3 rounds, and all of a sudden we get to this one, and now we're the most penalized team. Because you were committing penalties.
Yeah.
It's not like you weren't.
Okay. Well, because I was just wondering, because, I mean, for me, it's always like, if it's the coach plus players, I always feel like that's kind of like, all right, guys, let's calm down a little bit with this. But when it's just kind of like the coach, I feel like, okay, well, if the players aren't really complaining, then at least they feel like, well, we're just playing at the best that we can. Like, if we don't get our chances, we don't get our chances. You know, I mean,
exactly. If you don't get your chances, you don't get your chances. But still, at the same time, don't be a little baby. It's the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
By the way, it's final, not finals.
No, excuse me.
They don't pluralize it. They have one final.
Well, then I guess we'll have to edit that. Excuse me.
But for you to come out and complain, you sound like a 2-year-old child complaining to your mother about your brother taking your toy. Like, grow up.
That's a fair evaluation to it, I think. I mean,
like, it almost brings it like you're almost being the NBA about complaining about fouls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like in the NFL complaining about fouls. Like, if it's a bad penalty that should have been called, quote unquote, or one that shouldn't have been called, like in the San Jose Golden Knights series, that one shouldn't have been called.
Right.
The hand pass should have been called.
Yeah.
And the 2 that happened in this last game should have been called that weren't called. Those are ones where you can complain about.
Right.
But to complain that you're not getting it enough or not getting it all, and all the calls are going against you is ridiculous.
Yeah. No.
Be a better coach and teach your guys discipline. But that's what St. Louis has always been. That's why they're scumbags.
Never a dull moment to take a shot at St. Louis. No, I mean, look, obviously, you have a point. I mean, certainly with what the coach, coming out like that and stuff. I'm not gonna disbar the team completely because that's the coach's own personal problem with it. If the players aren't complaining about it, I'm not gonna diss on the team completely.
I mean, the players probably are complaining about it. Like, I didn't see any of them say anything, but they probably have said stuff to the media. It's just the fact that they know, all right, well, we got to be a little bit more well-disciplined.
Right.
And they know that. The reason the coach can't figure that out baffles me.
Yeah, no, it's and there he goes.
I'm dogless now. I can move.
Oh, now your cuteness factor went down.
Boo-hoo. By the way, it's been a year since Ovi's hoisted the cup. It's
That's
a
true.
glorious day.
Yes, it has.
Let's go.
Is that why you were wearing your Capitals today? What's your hat today? What are you
Sublime.
rocking? Oh, Sublime. Okay.
It's the same one Evan has.
Gotcha. All right. Oh, yeah, that's right. He does have that same hat. All right. So you're saying what? Game 6, Game 7 go to the Bruins then? Is that what you're feeling?
Bruins are going to win tomorrow night 3-1.
Okay.
And then they're winning Game 7 5-4.
Okay.
It's going to be a big shootout on Game 7.
Okay. I will say I'm gonna say I think the Bruins can probably do certain damage in Game 6. I think they're gonna go like a 5-2 beat down on the Blues. But as I always seem to do, I always have to go the opposite way because it just makes things a little bit more interesting. I'll give it to the Blues in like the 2-1 in overtime. I feel like as much as these teams I believe, can beat each other one way or the other, I think if it does go to a Game 7, they're going to play their hearts out, go to a 1-1 tie.
There is no tomorrow.
Well, yeah,
there is no Thursday game.
Exactly.
There's no other game after that. You go off season. You go on your vacations, your expensive trips to Paris.
And then he cries.
You go to the because then I got the.
Then you got the draft coming up, which we
it,
will talk about.
And then it turns around and hockey season's right back.
Exactly.
Well, let's go.
Yeah.
And you got the Bears. It's gonna be exciting.
In the what? Well, that's what he just said.
There.
Yeah.
Calm down.
All right, so I'm saying I think the Blues can take it into Game 7 in overtime. You're saying Bruins take it in Game 7 by what was your score again?
5-4.
5-4. Okay, that's the thing. I always like a close Game 7, ladies and gentlemen. That just makes it a little bit more fun. All right, well, what do you guys think about?
And a quick update: the Wolves are gonna lose tonight.
Wolves are gonna lose tonight, really? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Because why? Because we couldn't go?
Not because we couldn't go. They just don't look good.
Yeah, that's true.
Old.
They do. They unfortunately. Sorry, guys.
You won Game 1.
Yeah, it's not looking easy for you. But what do you guys think about the Stanley Cup final? Who do you think is going to win these last two games? How do you think the series is going to turn out? Can St. Louis take it here in Game 6? Can they take it in Game 7? Or will the Bruins take it all the way to Game 7 and win out and finally get yet another Stanley Cup? You guys can comment down below. Let us know what you guys think. Give us all your likes and comments about that stuff. All right, and moving on to the final topic of today. Unfortunately, we didn't get to break it Wednesday, but it did happen just as the show ended, apparently, and that is that we had some baseball signings happen in free agency, which is that Craig Kimbrell, the great reliever that he is officially signed. The Hawk himself has come through. The Cowboy has given a 3-year deal worth $43 million, $45 million in total with the Chicago Cubs.
By the way, I called that contract line.
You did? Well, you said 3 to 4.
I said 3 years with a 4th-year player option, and it's actually a player or a club option.
Okay.
Depending on if it vests, whatever that means. I have right here, Jordan Bainstein posted yesterday on MLB what you need to know about Kimbrell on the Cubs. Mm-hmm. The first one is how soon until Kimbrell joins the Cubs bullpen. He will he'll pitch a bullpen session today. Yeah. Then he's heading to the complex in Mesa, and we'll be getting condensed spring training, and then where he'll work through a series of bullpen sessions and live batting practices, workouts before being cleared for game action. Then he'll head to the minors. They don't say where in the minors, if he'll head to South Bend, if he'll send to AAA Iowa. It just depends.
They'll probably put him in South Bend, I would
South
think.
Bend, but they could also throw him in Tennessee. They can throw him single A for like a game, then bring him up. And then they're saying 2 to 3 weeks that until he can be up on the club.
Yeah, that's what I was projecting him to. Is he's probably going to need at least. I mean, I said at the most in like a month.
Actually, I should have kept reading. Yeah. The next one, How can the Cubs send Kimbrel to the minors if he's on an MLB contract?
Mm-hmm.
The Cubs have the ability to option Kimbrel to AAA Iowa, a step that took place on Friday, so he'll go to Iowa.
Okay, all right.
Chicago can avoid using the injured list under the circumstances. It's because they signed him midseason.
Right.
He still can do that. How will the bullpen be aligned with when Kimbrel joins the fold? It's what I've been saying. It will move Strop to the primary eighth inning role, which he is meant to do.
Right.
It'll move Steve Cishek, Brandon Kinsler, Carl Edwards Jr., and Brad Brock, and all those other ones that Joe Madden likes to use when he needs to, into the slide in the main innings in the 6th, 7th, maybe the 5th inning if need be.
Yeah.
And then that leaves you with Tyler Chatwood, Mike Montgomery throwing in when the pitchers are having a bad outing and they need to be out in the 2nd or the 3rd, or there's an injury in the starting. Then you have those two. The breakdown for his contract is Kimbrel will earn $10 million this year, followed by $16 million in both 20 and 21. There is a $16 million vesting or club option in 22. If the option does not vest, Chicago can either pick up the option or pay a $1 million buyout.
Okay.
That makes the deal worth 3 years, $43 million guaranteed.
Okay, so they've got
Whatever
this
vesting means. I don't understand what the vesting means is.
I think it's somewhere. It's kind of like if it like jumps up in value.
Yeah, it's
Like
on-
basically, if he has a good enough season, I think that's what they're saying. If he's right where they need him to be, then they're going to keep him for a little bit longer. And honestly, this is the smart move. I mean,
Yeah,
look,
it is.
you needed to get the reliever in there. You were having trouble in the bullpen. You needed to get somebody who can come in and save the game, close it out. And this is the perfect guy. It's one of the top. I mean, you're talking about a guy who
Hold on.
I could say he's a top
He's-
10 closer. And
He's right now the active saves leader in
Right.
MLB with 333 saves.
exactly. I mean,
He's a 7-time All-Star. He's 5 years in the top 10 of Cy Young Award
Yep.
finalists. So he's got the numbers. Now, to continue with this whole thing, it says everybody's been asking the same question.
right.
But why couldn't the Cubs get him in the beginning of this offseason and stuff? First off, he had a draft pick compensation, so
Right.
no one really. Same thing with Keuchel, which we'll get into. So they weren't going to sign him then,
Yeah.
because you're going to lose a draft pick. So they were able to sign him after the draft. Now the other thing is everybody's like, well, what about the money? We were told we had no money this offseason, yada yada yada. Well, with Zobrist, unfortunately, going through his divorce, which I hope everything's still going okay with that, being on the restricted list, it's just like the long-term IR in hockey or in anything like that.
Right.
It takes that money off the book, and it frees up if Zobrist is out for the rest of the season, that frees up north of $9 million of his $12.5 million salary. That is unexpected development combined with a few contracts coming out the books, and those contracts are Pedro Strop and a few of the bullpen guys.
Right.
Another question is, with the Kimbrel signings, that means Zobrist is not coming back this year, and Theo said that doesn't mean that he's not coming back. We're just going to let him come back on his own time. Obviously, I feel like if it gets to a certain point in the season, they might say, hey, you can come sit on the bench if you want, but we probably won't play you as much. Just
Well,
because
I mean,
it's if it gets to like a month and a half left
Yeah.
in the season, I guarantee he either won't come back or he'll just be part of the team on the bench. He'll be like a bench guy.
I mean, I wouldn't even put it past. I mean,
Because
I wouldn't put it- I
you still
wou-
want someone like that on your bench.
right. But I mean, I also wouldn't put it past a guy like Zobrist to kind of say, just
He's-
take himself out and just kind of be like, you know what? I think we're just going to have to. I just need time for myself. I'm
Yeah.
going to have to leave
Well, and
and
it's
do
all
my
about his
own
family
thing
right
for a
now.
while.
It's all
Right.
about his family right
So,
now.
and then that's understandable completely. But I mean, I mean,
It's still business, and Jed and them have all
exactly it.
said that they are looking at every aspect. They're looking at if he doesn't return.
Right.
Obviously, this is a sign that he might not return, but it's not fully.
right,
And they're also looking at a sign of if he does return, where do we go from there?
right,
The next one is were the Cubs engaged with Kimbrel in the offseason? And they were, actually. They had talked, but the
I
contract,
figured.
the amount that he was originally looking for was not there.
right.
And it was also part of that draft compensation.
Well, I mean, and that was the biggest deal that everybody was saying because the Cubs were picking 27th. You don't want to give up that compensation pick. You want to be able to keep that.
And
because
it's going to
certainly,
the Red Sox.
right?
It
And,
would
and
go to
you-
the Red Sox.
And you don't want to lose on that value because the Red Sox always seem to draft very well. So you don't want to give up an opportunity. And certainly they've gotten some good players from this year's draft. I mean, by the way, kudos to all the Chicago teams. You did great in the draft. I mean, everybody got
Well,
some
and
good
670
marks, so-
had the White Sox first-round draft pick on their air.
I did.
yesterday. I
Yeah,
didn't catch it.
saw that.
I heard part of it, but I didn't quite catch it. And then the last two, I'll skip the second one. I want to go to that one last.
Yeah.
The last one is, what about Brandon Morrow? Will he rejoin the Cubs this year? Everything I've heard is that they're looking for after the All-Star break.
Yeah, that's what
He
I
did have a
heard.
setback earlier this season, but he's back at throwing at a distance of 75 to 90 feet on flat ground. But with that being said, they don't know what it's going to do when he gets onto the hill.
Yeah.
So it's just a wait and see. If he comes back, that's just another weapon we have in the bullpen, but he won't be the closer.
No, well, he's gonna. I think he'll be more. And I like him
I think
more
he'll
as
be
a
in
setup guy.
Yeah, he'll be a setup guy, and
He's
that's fine by
he's
me.
a great setup guy. You can't put him at long term because I don't think with
His
the injury.
Yeah, he's
you
always
just
injured.
can't-
That's
yeah.
the problem. He's always injured.
You can't hold on that. So that's where, like you said, put Strop in at the long term and put a guy like Brandon Morrow as a setup. And not only that, but you think about it. What Morrow is still throwing, I think, like 94, 95.
Something like that.
So you have that as your setup man, and then you got Kimbrel, who's still throwing 96, 97 as your
Yeah.
closer. I mean, you're talking about a nasty thing. So, but I want to jump to you really fast with this.
One last thing
What's
real
that?
fast. Everybody's been asking. It's the same thing we're asking
Yeah.
about Keuchel. Was he throwing the past 2 months? He was.
Oh, yeah.
He was at Monteverde Academy in Orlando.
Oh, really?
Where
Okay.
Francisco Lindor went to high school.
Right.
He said that he joked that he had to cut back on his lifting because he started to look like a football player.
He already does look like a football player. That guy's huge already as it is.
but that's why.
Oh, well, that's always a crazy one. Was he throwing? What do you think he was doing?
Well, he had
I know.
he says in here he had slowed down his workouts or his
Yeah.
mound stuff because he wasn't sure where it was going. He was just spending time with his family at that point.
Right. Yeah.
So and
that's
they
fair.
came out and said Keuchel had been throwing every 5 days of like almost a full game
Yeah.
for his workload. So these guys were still working. They might have
Right.
cut down a little bit until they knew that it might pick up a little bit.
Right.
But
Well, and they know too that people want us. They know
Yeah.
that people are certainly going to go out and try and get these guys, but it's just a matter of kind of like well, we just have to kind of like sit and wait.
yeah.
So I want to ask you for Craig Kimbrel. Before,
Told you that name is very hard to say.
Yes, I screwed up there. Like, before we get into Dallas Keuchel, for Craig Kimbrel, I want to ask you, what do you think he can do? What do you think the Cubs season looks like now, and how do you think he's going to do for the season once he gets to the Cubs?
I think he'll have. Well, so let's say he comes. Let me look at their schedule real fast. So let's say.
If he comes in like a 3-week period.
So let's say everything I've heard is that he could be back the 20th or
Right.
be here the 20th. Let's say that's not the day. Let's
Okay.
say he comes in against. Let's say he doesn't do the Mets series, which is the 20th.
Right.
So the White Sox come into town the 18th and 19th of June, and then the Mets are in town for 4, and then Atlanta comes in Monday the 24th. Let's say that's his first game.
Okay.
Now, first off, you have Dallas Keuchel now to worry about in that series.
Yeah.
And Craig Kimbrel's now with the Cubs. So those are the two big free agents. So that's
Right.
obviously going to be a big talking point
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
series alone, and especially when Keuchel pitches.
All right.
So if he comes in the 24th, I feel like at least the 24th and 25th might be a little bit of a rust because now he's in the majors. He's got the major league bats instead of the minor league at bats.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a little bit of a rust, but I think he'll get right back into it. And I think everybody's worried about what he did last year in the playoffs, yada yada yada.
Yeah, that's kind of been like the big concern for some people, but
He's pitched a lot. He's pitched a lot of innings. He had all those innings on his arm.
Oh, yeah.
It just finally caught up to him. And I've said the same thing about Cargo, and I've heard it a lot, is when players go to a new team, especially a team like this, or a team that's competitive, or even a big market,
right.
they seem to thrive. They might take a couple, like a month or two, or even a year. It might take a year into a deal,
Yeah.
and everybody then complains about it. "Quote unquote" Darvish,
Right.
or John Lester. He had a little bit of a rocky season his
Yeah.
first year, and he's turned it around and looked really good. And now we'll just have to wait and see. He's pitched in the National League before. He's used to it. He came from Atlanta, so it's just we'll see where he's at. I think by the time that third game rolls around where he's in, I think he'll roll and he'll just be fine. He'll be
Yeah.
original Craig Kimbrel, throwing that knuckle curve that he does and throwing everything that he has.
I will say this. I certainly think this helps in a big way for the Cubs for sure. My big thing is obviously is the rest of the bullpen going to be at 100%?
Yeah.
Because I think if they are certainly at 100%, I think they can really roll with this. That's the biggest thing.
Something else you have to look at is with him now. The Cubs having a for sure closer.
Right.
Is it now sets up for guys to. So say Cishek pitches 3 days in a row.
Right.
Now he doesn't have to pitch because you didn't pitch Carl Edwards Jr. for those 3 games.
Exactly.
So Cishek gets a couple days off, and Edwards can pitch a couple games.
Right.
So it gives these guys, instead of, I got Cishek and Edwards who have pitched four games already,
Yeah.
and they've pitched an inning and a third.
Yeah.
I can't throw them out there. Well, now I got to throw like Mike Montgomery and God, I
Right.
hate the man Kyle Ryan out there.
I know. Yeah, I had a feeling you might have a little
Drop
bit.
him and bring Dylan Maples up. I'd rather have that man up here.
For real,
But
seriously.
I think it'll help out a lot. Like I keep saying, this is what they needed. Joe Madden likes to start in the back
Yeah.
with the 9th inning and go from there. Now he has a legit closer that can go. He's like, all right, well, I got this set,
Yeah.
and I have, let's say, so what? Who's pitching today? You have, come on, load faster.
Well, before you get that, I'll say this.
It is Lester today.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you have Lester today, and Lester goes 6 innings. Now you throw Cishek in there for the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
You throw Pedro Strop in there for the 8th, and then all of a sudden to come in the 9th, you have Kimbrel.
Well, I was gonna say what's really good is that we're seeing from what I'm starting to see, not just from the Cubs starters, but from a lot of the starters in baseball now. A lot of these guys are starting to get back into that move of like going to the 7th and to the 8th inning. So you're getting a little bit more out of those guys. I mean, you're asking more of them, but you're getting another inning out of them, which kind of saves you to be able to say,
Which will
we
also
can
help in the long term.
Right. So you can only. So then you say, well, all you have to do is pitch 1 inning, and then we'll get Kimbrel in there, or whoever, and then we can call it a day, and then we'll be good to go. So there's a lot of big positives that come from getting a guy like Kimbrel. I think he's gonna. I don't know what he's gonna do for the playoffs. I think he's gonna be a lot better now that he's got, I think, a just as high volatile offense like he did in Boston. But I think what he has in Chicago certainly is
because think about it this way: if you get that lineup up and down,
yeah,
clicking at the same time,
right.
who's gonna stop him?
Exactly.
You get Hayward, Bryant, Schwarber, Rizzo, Contreras, Baez, whoever is playing second base,
Yeah.
and you get those guys just rolling
Yeah.
straight up that lineup. Oh my gosh, that lineup's dirty. There's no one you're not gonna get them all out.
Yeah.
You might get Rizzo out here and there, but even though it's crazy, the Cubs have struggled a little bit here, and hopefully that'll be fixed in the bullpen. They've
Yeah.
blown 22 games by
Yeah.
saves. So you think could they go out and actually get this taken care of and everything turn around?
Yeah.
I think they can.
I absolutely think they can too, and I think this is the perfect kind of thing because now this also, who knows, this might be the thing that maybe sends Madden to say, you know what, maybe we got to shake up the bullpen a little bit. Maybe it does get Ryan out of there. Maybe they start going into a few of the guys they got sitting in the minor leagues and start bringing them up to see what they got. So,
I saw something yesterday is that they're still looking for another bullpen guy.
Yeah.
And the article that I read had someone from the White Sox.
I mean,
And there was been talks about it for a while with Colome.
yeah.
I personally don't want him. I don't think he's consistent.
No, he's really not.
I mean,
Trust me on it.
if you want, I'll take Giolito.
No, we're good. We're good.
Just a quick thing. My friend sent me this. It's White Sox talk on Twitter.
Yeah.
What a performance from Lucas Giolito, career high in strikeouts, and now has 22 straight innings without giving up a run. I think he went yesterday 7 and 2/3, 0 runs, 3 hits, 11 Ks.
Captain Giolito, we salute you, sir.
I mean, he's been an ace, but there's really no one on the White Sox I want.
Yeah, there's no. Trust me, there are no bullpen arms you're gonna want.
I think
at this
Colome
point.
is the only one who could
Yeah.
potentially be something. I think him getting away from Cooper would be great.
Oh well,
But
all of them getting away from Cooper.
Something that they keep bringing up is, would you do Mike Montgomery for Colome straight up?
for straight up.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That would give
because,
you a starter. He wants to
honestly,
be a starter.
because I want. I personally myself, I would like to see the Sox get another
Because
starter.
here, think about this.
And now that Keiko's off the market, he does give
Think
you
about
the
this.
third guy in.
So let's say you trade for Mike Montgomery, you bring him out, or he comes and he starts. So you go Lucas Giolito, Mike Montgomery,
Yeah.
Lopez,
Yeah.
and then your fourth, you bring up Cease,
Yeah.
and then you go Covey for 5.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I would do it certainly because I mean, look, for the White Sox, this team is not going to be going anywhere
And think
anytime
about it,
soon.
you're not giving up a whole lot.
Right.
Mike Montgomery's contract's not terrible. I don't know what Colome's contract is, but I don't think it's terrible. So
Colome's contract is real cheap.
yeah, so they would go straight up, back and forth. It's not that bad of a deal. I would be sketchy on taking it. I wouldn't take it right away.
Well, Colome would be then your setup guy then.
But I would also wait and see what you can also get, because maybe you can get Doolittle.
Yeah, well,
maybe you can get something else
a
little bit better that you like. I mean, there's other options out there, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm down to talk this Keuchel one.
Yeah, no, yeah, you threw me off my groove there a little bit, man. No,
I'm on top of my game today.
Exactly. No, it's Craig Kimball's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens with here. But then to round this one off, obviously Dallas Keuchel. But we're gonna do this one really quick, just because we're.
Well, it's only a 1-year deal. We don't have to go.
Well, yeah, he's got a 1-year deal, $13 million for the Atlanta Braves. So he's going to be joining a team that right now is considered playoff contenders.
They just needed that pitcher.
Yeah,
I think they got him.
It looks like they've got their veteran talent that they needed in the rotation, and still throwing 94, 95. Still a great accurate pitcher.
And he
great
slapped the face of the Yankees.
Yes, he
and
did.
That's what I am enjoying out of this. Because Kimbrel did almost the same thing, because the Yankees were a little bit in on Kimbrel too. Not much. But Keuchel said, "You want me to shave my beard?"
Yeah.
No. I'll go pitch for someone else, and I hope I see you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you'll regret telling me I had to shave my beard.
Yeah,
That is the dumbest rule that the Yankees and George Steinbrenner ever put into play. You cost Johnny Damon probably a great career by him doing that. It was almost like
he also
Samson.
took the power out of him, because it seems like as soon as you shaved
Samson.
his beard,
He was Samson, biblical. That guy who had to cut his hair and all of a sudden was nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you basically just cut off his mane. It's like cutting a lion's mane, and it's like nothing. Like, think about it.
And he should know.
But think about it. Like, I think it ruined Damon's career.
Yeah.
And now you go out and you wanted Keuchel to do the same thing. Like, that is what he is known for. You're going to make that guy do. Like, it's fine if he was down for it, whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, that is the dumbest rule.
Well, imagine if, like, the Houston Rockets all of a sudden came out of the rule and they said to James Harden, "You're going to shave your beard."
He's
and
going to
like,
his agent. He's going to his agent right now.
Yeah, he'd probably be
Brent
like,
Burns. If the San Jose Sharks did the same thing,
Yeah,
he's going to his agent
Yeah.
right now. But
you,
honestly, hockey's different because it's playoff beard hockey season.
yeah.
So it's way different.
But if you do that, you're taking away their image, their brand. Because what has James Harden, what has Brett Burns built their careers on? It's the beard.
Yeah.
Dallas Keuchel's done the same thing.
Craig Kimbrel.
Kimbrel's done the same thing.
I mean,
it's a part of the image for these guys
it's
now.
literally what they are.
Heck, we wouldn't have a Fear the Beard shirt for the Blackhawks if that rule was in place.
Yeah.
Although,
It's
granted,
playoff hockey.
Taze couldn't grow a beard. But,
Well, neither can Crosby, and Crosby
Well,
still can't grow.
I can't really grow a
You
beard
grow
either.
one better than Crosby does. It's the
Really?
truth. Yes.
Thank you.
His is patchy.
I'll take that.
His is really patchy.
It
It's
is.
terrible.
It is.
And he's got that stupid, like, Dirty Sanchez mustache. What? Why?
All right.
He's got a Dirty Sanchez mustache when he can
Jesus
grow
Christ.
one. Mine's way better. At least it comes in thick and full.
All right.
Yes, I said what I said.
Okay. All right. So for Dallas Keuchel, obviously, he's been a very proven starter. I mean, he's got over 70 wins.
Both guys that were just picked up both have World Series. The
yeah,
last 2 World Series.
Very true. Yeah. So I mean, and he's also got a Cy Young award. So what are you seeing with him with Atlanta? What do you think? And not only that, but what do you see a little bit after Atlanta? Because it's only 1 year.
I think, well, honestly, I'd have to wait and see his first few starts. I'm hoping he'll be up pitching against the Cubs when they come to town.
Yeah.
Because it'd be nice to be able to watch that game live and see Keuchel pitch, see how it is.
Yeah.
I would say give him a few starts, though, still in the majors once he does come up, depending on where they do with him.
Yeah.
Because starting pitchers always are weird.
Yeah.
They could just even be thrown right in the rotation.
Well,
And
he could be like a Justin Verlander. You never know. Look at what happened when he went to Houston. Guy was amazing as soon as he got there.
So I mean, it just depends on where he's at. I think, like I said, though, I think it'll still be the same thing as Kimbrel. He'll need a few games to get in that rotation. He'll probably go 5 innings. He'll probably have an inning cap on him or a pitch count cap on him. maybe no more than 80 pitches for the first 2 games. 5 innings will be fine. He gets through that, and they'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see how this goes out for Dallas Keuchel. All the best to him, by the way. Certainly a very strong lefty that I think is going to really help.
But I also don't think he'll wait next year as long.
You don't think he was going to wait?
No, I don't think there will be a long wait. Even though I think his agent is still Scott Boras.
Yes. Yeah, as far as his career right now with Atlanta, I think he'll have a good one. I think they'll be able to go deep into the playoffs. I don't know if the World Series is maybe going to be in their future.
Nope.
It's going to be tough. But I certainly think he can be highly competitive and keep his name out there. And after this season, I think he goes to a real true contender.
North side.
Or south side, baby.
North
whichever
side.
one. And south side's
North
good too.
side. Because Hamels will be gone at the end of the season.
Well, you guys can keep him. We'll take Keuchel. It's okay.
We'll take Keuchel and Kimbrel.
No,
We'll be
thank
solid. Because, by the way, Cubs are going to have revenue next year.
Yeah, it's true.
Watch out, folks.
But you still got to sign some guys. Who knows? But
But we'll have the TV deal, so we'll have more money.
Oh, shut up. But we'll see what happens with Keuchel. I think there's still a possibility he could still head west. I know there's been a lot of talk that
Don't head west.
he
You're going to
doesn't
ruin
really-
your career.
He said he doesn't really want to head west, but when money's involved,
You'll ruin your career. No one will care about you then.
But we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen, as that comes along. What do you guys think about the Dallas Keuchel, Craig Kimbrel deals? Do you guys like them? Do you think it's going to help the teams?
Cubs are the favorites
prove
now.
them? Are they really?
Yeah, Cubs are the favorite now, definitely to win the Central.
I mean, they were already
Braves.
82 to
The
win
Braves
division.
are now almost the favorites to win the East.
Really?
It just depends on how many of these injured relievers for the Phillies come back.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys can let us know what you think about all that down low in the comment section. Give us some love. Give us some likes. Hit us with some questions. Hit us with some comments about all this stuff, guys. We want to hear from you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to end what has been a lovable cutie wootie show because of your dog being on this show. I mean, I generally, if I should have put his name in the
I know, I
title,
should
man.
have.
I didn't even think about that.
Quick thing real fast.
Yeah.
Turkey stunned France.
Turkey stunned France, really?
Yeah, the men's team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I got it still right here. But yeah, 2-0 in the Euro qualifying.
Wow.
So
all right.
Turkey stunned France, defending world champs.
Well,
First ever victory versus France for Turkey.
Unbelievable.
So France probably won't make the Euros, which will be great.
well, hey, congratulations to you, Turkey. And Mbappe, where you at, man? Should have joined Real Madrid. Just
Still has a chance. Hey, we got Hazard though. Let's go.
Yeah, we got Hazard.
Bale
all right.
told him to shove it.
Tom, where can they find you, man?
McLovin6193 on Instagram and Twitter.
Yep, absolutely. And you guys can find me on Twitter at TheFluffyGuru. Follow me on Instagram at BoomCrewCaptain. If you guys want to find us on Facebook, go to our Facebook page at XBomb Sports. Like us there. See our old videos, seasons 1 and 2. Give us some love there. We always love seeing the people who like the original videos and stuff before we had all this beautiful stuff.
Go back
going on
to
there.
the UFC one with Bob and Brett.
Shut up, Tom. Nobody talking to you. God. Also, guys, too, make sure to go follow us on Twitter at XBomb Sports. If you like us for our Instagram, we're always posting new stuff up there as well. We always post a show there, so if you guys want to see it, go to the bio, go inside our Twitter. You always can find the stuff there to like our show, so make sure to go there and give us a like, give us a follow. And also, too, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube page at XBomb Productions. So make sure to subscribe to us, hit the bell, give us some love, guys. Watch these shows, give us some comments, and
War of Will.
don't let anybody try to tell you that we're using copyrighted material because, well,
I am copyrighted.
yes, we are copyrighted. Yeah, and stop copywriting us, everybody. Jeez, we're
Max
just trying to
Kellerman.
help you here.
Max Kellerman.
All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week on Wednesday. You missed. We will see you next Wednesday and next Saturday for another fun, fantastic show. So I hope you guys are really enjoying yourself while I punish this 3-year-old here. Thank you all so much for watching. Much love. And peace out, Boom Crew.